You know what you're doing wrong right now? You keep making yourself easy. You keep standing right there, fully available, hoping that if you just care a little more, message a little more, chase a little harder, she'll finally wake up and treat you right. And every time you do that, you make yourself look less valuable. You probably already noticed this pattern. When you are always there, always replying fast, always ready to fix every small problem, she gets relaxed. She treats you like an option. She keeps you on the side while she lives her life. And then the second you pull back, the second you finally stop trying so hard, now suddenly she notices you again. It feels confusing, but it's not random at all. There is a reason why people start missing you the moment you stop pushing for their attention. There is a reason the girl who barely replied to you suddenly views your story, replies to your post, or starts acting curious the second you go quiet. And here's the part most guys never get. This is not about playing petty games. It's not about acting cold on purpose, or trying to make her jealous, or following some fake rule book. This is about mastering yourself. It's about learning to step back, control your emotions, and give that girl real experience of life without you in it all the time. That's where the power is. That's where stoic mindset comes in. Not by pretending you don't care, but by actually building a life where you don't depend on her reaction to feel okay. So yeah, we're going to talk about her. Why she starts missing you. Why she comes back. Why distance flips the entire dynamic. But this is mainly about you. About how you show up. How much you respect yourself. How much you rely on her attention. How much control you actually have over your relationships when you stop acting from fear and start acting from self-respect. Because right now, if you're always chasing, you are giving away control. You reach out first. You fix every argument. You apologize even when you did nothing wrong. You keep trying to prove your value. And every time you do that, you lower how she sees you and how you see yourself. That has to change. From here on, distance is not a trick. It's a standard. You're not stepping back to force her to miss you. You're stepping back to protect your peace, to grow, and to stop pouring energy into someone who doesn't really meet you halfway. And when you do that right, a few things happen in a row. They are simple, but powerful. I'll walk through them one by one, so you see exactly what's going on when you pull away and why it makes her start chasing you. Let's start with the first shift, your growth. You know how most girls get relaxed around a guy? It's because they think they already know you. They think you're always going to be like this. Always online, always reacting, always ready to give them attention the second they feel bored or lonely. You become predictable, and predictable feels safe to ignore. So when you finally pull back and you don't fill that role anymore, there is a shock. It's not loud, it's quiet at first. She stops getting the usual good morning message. She notices you didn't reply instantly. You don't view every story the second she posts one. You don't chase every small hint of attention. At the same time, you shift your focus. Instead of staring at her messages, you put your attention into real life. You go to the gym and stay consistent. You put effort into your style. You improve your social circle. You start doing well at school or work instead of scrolling all night. Time goes by, and you slowly turn into a different version of yourself. You look better. You feel better. Your routine is tighter. You walk with more certainty. You aren't sitting around, waiting for her to give you energy. You're building your own. This is the part nobody sees at first. You're alone, doing the work, having quiet days where it feels boring, and you kind of want to message her again, but you stay focused. You keep the distance. You keep building. Then she notices. Maybe she sees a new picture. Maybe she hears from someone that you're doing well. Maybe she just feels your shift because your messages, when you do reply, are short, calm, and not needy at all. And now she has to ask herself, what happened? She thought she had you figured out. She thought you would always be the same safe option that she could come back to or ignore. But now she sees progress. She sees growth. She sees you moving forward without her. That shocks her ego first. It makes her question how she judged you before. It makes her wonder what else she missed. And that curiosity pulls her attention back toward you, whether she admits it or not. Here's the important part though. You are not doing this growth for her. You don't hit the gym just so she sees it. You don't work on your confidence just so you can post a new picture. You do it because you finally respect yourself enough to stop wasting time, waiting for someone who clearly was not all in. If she notices your growth, fine. If she doesn't, you still win, because the life you're building is for you, not for her reaction. That leads straight into the second shift. Real independence. There is something very rare in today's dating world. A person who is okay on their own. Most guys secretly build their whole emotional world around one girl. They wake up and check if she replied. Their mood for the day depends on her energy. If she's dry, they feel low. If she's sweet, they feel high. Their sense of value is tied to how she treats them. That is a problem. When she can feel that you depend on her attention to feel valuable, she loses respect. She may still like the attention, but she doesn't see you as a solid man. She sees you more like a fan. So when you pull back and start becoming genuinely self-sufficient, that whole setup flips. You fill your day with your own goals. You learn how to enjoy time alone without feeling empty. You do activities that make you proud of yourself, even when no one else sees them. You build self-respect through action, not through likes or replies. You stop begging for emotional support. You stop oversharing your feelings with someone who barely gives you effort back. You still have emotions, but you handle them. You process them. You don't dump them all just to get a little bit of comfort. Now she looks at you and sees someone different. You don't chase her presence. You don't panic when she pulls back. You don't blow up her phone when she goes cold for a day. You stay steady. That calm energy is powerful. Not flashy, not dramatic, just solid. Most people today depend on constant validation. So when she runs into a guy who is fine on his own, who likes her but clearly does not need her to function, that stands out. It pulls her in. It makes her curious. It makes her pay attention in a way she did not before. Because now your attention is no longer free. It has value. You choose where it goes. And that leads into the third shift, confidence. When you stop chasing and you start focusing on your body, your mind, your purpose, you begin to feel different inside. You stop seeing yourself as the guy who is lucky to be in her presence and start seeing yourself as the man who brings value wherever he goes. That doesn't mean you walk around arrogant. It means you walk around with quiet certainty. You look in the mirror and you see progress. You see discipline. You see someone who stayed focused when it was easier to go back to old habits. That builds real confidence, not fake confidence based on compliments. So now when you talk to her, you don't try to impress her with every sentence. You don't over-explain yourself. You don't try to be perfect. You say what you think. You keep it simple. You're okay with silence. You're okay if she doesn't reply right away, and she feels that. The guy who used to ask for her opinion on everything now makes clear decisions. The guy who used to overthink every emoji now sends messages, puts his phone down, and goes back to his life. The guy who used to accept any behavior just to stay around now has standards. That change exposes her insecurities a bit. Before, she felt bigger. She felt in control. Now she has to face the fact that you don't orbit around her anymore. You're centered in your own life, and she is just one part of it, not the center. That makes her pay attention in a very different way. She starts checking your profile more. She starts replying faster. She might throw in light test to see if she still has power over you. She may act interested one day and distant the next, just to see if you break and go back to your old chasing pattern. This is where the stoic mindset matters. You don't react to every shift in her mood. You do not build your day around whether she seems warm or cold. You stay even. You stay grounded. You control your actions, not her opinion. Confidence is not about being loud or trying to dominate. It's about knowing your value so clearly that you no longer fear losing someone who doesn't treat you in line with that value. And when you reach that level, your presence feels very different, not only to her, but to everyone. Now we move to the fourth shift. You become less predictable. When you were always there, she knew your pattern. If she posted, you reacted. If she sent a half-hearted message, you replied with a full paragraph. If she disappeared for a bit, you waited and then tried harder. There was no mystery, no challenge, no uncertainty. Once you pull back and build a real life outside of her, that pattern breaks. You are not always on your phone. You are not always ready to answer. You take longer to reply sometimes because you are genuinely busy. You say no to plans that do not fit your priorities. You don't do this to confuse her. You do this because your life finally has structure and purpose that is not centered on her. From her point of view, you become harder to read. She doesn't know if you will text first. She doesn't know what your schedule looks like now. She doesn't know who you spend your time with. She doesn't know what your next move is. That uncertainty wakes her up. Human attention locks on to what is not fully understood. So instead of assuming you will always be there no matter what, now she has to ask herself questions. Are you losing interest? Are you talking to other girls? Are you focused on your goals so much that you barely think about her now? She may not even put it into words, but she feels it. That makes your presence more valuable because it is no longer guaranteed. She has to contribute. She has to reach out. She has to actually choose you instead of just expecting you to choose her over and over. Unpredictable does not mean immature. You are still consistent with your character. You're respectful, honest, and calm. But your time is not easy access anymore. You answer when it suits your life. You meet when it fits your schedule. You don't jump every time she wants attention. And that change pulls the dynamic back to something more balanced. Now we get to the fifth shift, the slow realization of what she had. This is where time and distance do their work. At first, when you pull away, she may not care much. She might even feel relief because she has more space. She thinks you will eventually return to your old pattern, because you always did before. But you don't. You stay on your path. You show consistent behavior. You stay respectful but distant. You no longer initiate every conversation. You reply, but you are not putting in all the effort. Weeks pass. Maybe months. Her life goes on, but she starts to notice small gaps. Nobody checks on her in the same steady way. Nobody gives that kind of support without asking for attention back. Nobody listens in the same patient way. Nobody brings the same presence you used to bring. She has conversations with other guys, but they feel shallow. Some only want her body. Some play games, some are even more needy than you used to be. She does not feel that same mix of care and strength you were starting to create. That contrast slowly reveals your value. She starts remembering moments with you, how safe she felt when you were calm, how you handled problems, how you listened, how you tried. Even if she did not appreciate it before, now she compares it to what she has with others. Regret starts to grow. She realizes she had a guy who actually cared, who was loyal, who was ready to grow, and she treated him like a backup plan. That is not a good feeling. It hits the ego and the heart at the same time. Now your distance is not just silence, it is proof. Proof that you are not going to stay in a place where you are not wanted. Proof that your attention was not free forever. Proof that you have self-respect. She begins to crave the old access she had. She wants the ease back. She wants the security of knowing you are one message away. So she will often test the waters. She might reach out late at night. She might react to a story. She might send something casual to see how available you still are. Your job is not to punish her. Your job is to protect your standards. You can reply. You can be polite. You can even reconnect if she shows real change. But you no longer drop everything for her. You do not rush back into the same dynamic as before. You keep your pace. You keep your values. If she is serious, she will adapt. If she is not, she will fade again. Either way, you keep your center. Now we move into the sixth shift. Your new journey becomes attractive. Once you commit to growth for real, you start to build a life that looks and feels very different from the one you had when you were chasing her. You have a routine that gives you energy. Maybe you hit the gym 4 times a week. Maybe you built better habits with sleep and diet. Maybe your grades improved. Maybe you started a side project or made progress in your job. You have new people around you, better friends, people who support you instead of just using you for attention. You go to more events. You try new activities. Your social life becomes fuller and more balanced. You also have more self-control. You are calmer, less reactive, less needy, more focused. You make decisions based on your long-term goals, not on short-term feelings. From the outside, that looks like a new chapter. When she sees you now, she doesn't just see the guy who used to chase her. She sees a man in motion. She sees a path. She sees progress. She sees a life that is starting to move upward. That creates a strong pull. People want to be close to growth. It makes them feel excited. It makes them feel like they are part of something that has potential. Your journey becomes tempting for her because she feels like she is missing out on the upgraded version of you. She may not say it out loud, but inside she feels it. You are not on her level anymore. You are above it. Not in a better human way, but in terms of discipline, mindset, and direction. If she wants to come back now, she knows she cannot just walk in and act like nothing happened. She senses that you will not accept the old lazy behavior. So if she truly wants to be part of your new life, she has to show effort. She has to match energy. She has to respect your standards. Some girls will rise to that, others will not. And that is exactly how it should be. Because your journey now is bigger than one girl. You are building a life that will attract people who are aligned with your values, not just people who like attention. That brings us to the seventh shift. Fear of replacement. This is real, even for people who pretend it does not bother them. When she sees that you are stable without her, growing without her, social without her, and confident without her, a thought appears in her mind sooner or later. Someone else is going to notice. Another girl is going to see your progress. Another girl is going to see your discipline, your calm energy, your rising confidence, your new look. Another girl is going to experience the version of you who learned from this situation and now sets better standards. That thought hits hard because she once had access to you before you leveled up. She saw the raw potential. She saw the loyal side. She saw the caring side, but she did not respect it at that time. Now she realizes that if someone new comes into your life, that girl will get the best version of you. And she might be pushed out of the picture for good, not through drama, but simply because she did not step up when she had the chance. That fear pushes a lot of people to return. Sometimes they start replying more. Sometimes they suddenly show more interest. Sometimes they want to talk or catch up. In many cases, they are trying to secure a place in your life again because they sense that you are close to moving fully on. Again, your job is not to be cruel. Your job is to stay honest with yourself. If she comes back now, the question is not, does she miss me? The question is, does she respect me, and is she ready to match the man I'm becoming? If the answer is yes, you can give that connection another chance, but with clear boundaries and a new standard. If the answer is no, you keep moving. Because here is the core point of all of this. Distance is not a trick to control someone else. It is a filter. It exposes who really sees your value and who only wanted easy access. It shows you who will meet you halfway when they feel your absence and who only text when they are bored. It forces people to reveal their true level of interest, and it forces you to grow up. You learn how to hold your emotions without begging for attention. You learn how to stay calm when someone pulls away. You learn how to walk away when respect is missing. You learn how to put your energy into goals that pay you back. That is what stoic mindset in dating looks like. You stop trying to control her decisions. You stop overanalyzing every message. You stop building huge emotional stories in your head about what she might be doing. You accept that you cannot control who chooses you. You focus on what you can control, how you show up, how you react, what standards you hold, where you invest your time. So if you are in that stage right now, where you are giving a girl distance, where you are thinking about stepping back, Remember this, you are not doing it to teach her a lesson. You are doing it because chasing someone who does not value you is disrespectful to yourself. Feel the discomfort. Use that energy to fix your body, your habits, your finances, your social skills, your mindset. Build a life that would make you proud even if she never returns. And here is the paradox. The more you do that for real, the more likely it is that she will come back around. She will feel the gap you left. She will notice your growth. She will see your independence. She will feel the new confidence. She will sense that other girls will want you. But by the time that happens, you will not be the same guy she left. You will be stronger, clearer, and more grounded. You will not be begging. You will not be waiting. You will not be desperate. You will listen to her actions, not her excuses. And that is the real win. Because whether she comes back or not, you already changed the only part you were ever supposed to control: yourself.